This is our $500 Civic, and right now, it doesn't run. Oh, big die.
Big die?
Big die. So I thought it's the perfect time to add one of the final pieces to the puzzle, a sound system. And we're gonna be doing things a little bit differently today. We're gonna be installing the best sound system you can buy for under $1,000.
How loud will it go?
Louder than that. We're gonna be adding speakers, a subwoofer, an amp, and a head unit to this thing to make it sound a lot better. It's one of my favorite parts of a car. I love having music while you drive, and when the system is good, it's even better. I'm Zach, this is Donut. Let's get to work. Okay, so our stereo system doesn't currently work, but imagine that it did. We would still want to upgrade the speaker system because these came with really crappy head units and speakers. You turn on the radio, it sounds absolutely awful. It sounds like it's from 100 years ago. They also only have a total of 2 speakers in the entire car with a very moderate amount of power going to them. So they sound like crap and they're pretty quiet. So by upgrading things, we're gonna be able to get our sound quality to go through the roof and be able to sustain higher noise levels while sounding good. Now, a lot of new cars actually come with really nice sound systems, like the new Civic Type R. But this car is lacking severely, so we're gonna fix that today. So to fix our failed old sound system, here's what we've got. Bring it in, Jim. Okay, everything on this table costs us a grand total of $850, which might sound like a lot, but it's really not. That's about as cheap as you can do a nice sound system. When you consider all the parts, it'll make more sense. Let's break it down. First off, we've got our head unit. This is a Pioneer piece. It's pretty simple, pretty basic, and it costs $100. Then we've got some door speakers. These are pretty beefy and should really elevate the sound quality in the car. They were only $70. Then, of course, we've got one 10-inch subwoofer, and this thing was only $119. And then when you're adding things like this, you generally need to power them with an amplifier. And usually you'll have an amplifier responsible for your component speakers and one responsible for your sub. But in this case, I've got a 2-in-1 amp. This is a 5-channel, so it does door speakers and subwoofer, which is gonna save us a little space, and it actually saved a little bit of money. I spent $420 on this. Nice. Then over here, we've got wiring. You can't forget it, you gotta have it, and it was $60. But it's pretty nice stuff. And then a box to put the sub in that we spent $80 on. Just a box. Now we gotta install it. All right, Jimmy, get to it. Yeah, give us a bass tester. There's something wrong with this guy. So to get to the door speakers, I'm gonna take off the door cards and then they will be readily removable. Come on, I don't wanna break it. She's seen better days. Smells old. Okay, now we've got these old dogs out of there and we're almost ready to put the new ones in. The question is, how do you choose a new set of speakers? And there's really a couple things you're looking at. First off, the size of them. So these are 6.5-inch speakers, so I ordered 6.5-inch speakers to replace them with, which means they'll drop right into there, they fit in their home, and that's great. Now you can increase the size of the speakers or use smaller ones if you want to for some reason, but that's gonna require a little bit of fabrication or at least figuring out. And then beyond that, you wanna think about power. When you're matching speakers to an amp, whether that's the factory head unit or an aftermarket amp like we're doing, the main number you're gonna be looking at and thinking about is the RMS power rating. It means root mean squared, or basically the average power output of that amplifier and how much a speaker can handle. So these speakers are 100 watts RMS, so that means they can handle an average of 100 watts all the time. Our amp puts out 100 watts RMS to 4 speaker outputs. Even though we're only gonna be using 2, that's fine. We've matched our speakers nicely to our amp, along with our subwoofer is also matched nicely to our amp. So I think we're in business. All right, this is gonna be sexy. Sorry, that was too sexy, I know.
This is today's sponsor, AeroPress, a compact, durable coffee maker that lets you enjoy a good cup of coffee anywhere you want. It's the only press that uses a patented 3-in-1 brew technology, combining the best of French press, espresso, and pour over into one portable, easy-to-use device. Just add medium fine coffee grounds, pour in hot water, stir for 5 seconds, brew for 30 seconds, then press it to your favorite mug. And In less than 2 minutes, you get to enjoy smooth, full-body coffee that's completely unique in flavor without a hint of bitterness or grit. With over 55,000 five-star reviews at a price tag of under 50 bucks, it's a shockingly affordable coffee maker. But it's even more affordable when you head on over to aeropress.com/donut and save up to 20%. AeroPress ships to the US and over 60 countries around the world. So ditch the drive-through, toss the bulky pot, and get better mornings fueled by better coffee with AeroPress.
The first thing we're gonna do is wire the car up and get it ready for our new stuff. You can reuse the factory speaker wires, but I wouldn't really advise it. You know, if you're going this far, you might as well rewire the speakers with some nice speaker wire that can handle the increased output of your new amp. One thing you'll see a lot in like speaker wiring like this is whether or not the wiring is OFC or oxygen-free copper. And oxygen-free copper is the best stuff. It gives you the best signal, the best clarity, and it's generally just what you should use. First off, right here, we got RCAs, and this is what's gonna take the sound signal from our head unit back to our amplifier so it can amplify it and then shoot it out to our speaker wires to our various speakers. So we gotta get this up to the head unit region, and we gotta get some speaker wire to the doors, a handful of other little things like power wire up to the battery. It'll be done in no time.
This is everybody's favorite part about wiring stuff. Blood rushing to your head, makes you feel good. Just making sure I have these RCAs tied up and totally out of the way of the pedals. The last thing you want is your foot catching while you're trying to use the pedals, let alone anything even touching your feet will just make you think about it. And for a car that's gonna go on track, I'll make sure everything's tied up, out of the way, and is not gonna interfere with the driving.
Who needs speakers when you can just have me in the passenger seat?
All right, well, Joe can handle the wiring. I'm gonna take care of some odds and ends like a new floor.
Now, this is gonna support the weight of the subwoofer, and it's gonna be able to be mounted to the actual chassis of the car, which is really important. This car is gonna go on track, and we're adding a subwoofer to the back, which if you don't latch that thing down, it becomes a projectile if you get into an accident. So we're gonna make sure that we can bolt the floor to the car and then bolt the subwoofer to the car as well so that nothing can move.
This is our cardboard-esque floor that I think came in the car.
Yep.
It's pretty misshapen and also not very solid. So what I'm gonna do is I have this plywood here that I found in the shop. I'm gonna trace on here. I'm gonna extend some wings out the side just so this thing can be bolted to the floor. I intentionally left a lot of meat on the board because the cardboard piece that goes in here does not extend all the way out to these corners. This is the outline of where the original cardboard was. It doesn't go all the way out. So I think I'm gonna tape some cardboard to that original piece, make a template of where I need to cut here, and hopefully that can get us in the right ballpark. Almost there. Yeah, getting close.
My arm is so tired. Of course, you could use a drill or an impact gun to drive these screws, but that's really risky. All it takes is one little slip, and you poke a hole in this foam around here, and you have just rendered your sub pretty much useless. I just do it by hand, because I've done that in the past.
Okay, here we go. Hey, pretty good.
All right, Nolan's got the floor done, so I'm just gonna kind of drop this thing in here and see how we want to mount it. See how it fits with the strut bar in place. Oh, that might be money, honey. I want to make sure that there's no way that even if you drove into a wall at 50 miles an hour, that this could move forward. We'll have brackets on the sides, and then the strut bar will be right here, preventing the sub from being able to go forward no matter what. I'm just thinking about packaging, and we could rotate it either way, but then you get gap here, and I really like how nice and tight.
That's secure.
Yeah, that makes me feel good. In a car this small with a sealed box like this, I think you can point it pretty much any way except for down.
Cool.
And achieve pretty similar results. So the fitment is accidentally perfect.
Yeah, boy.
Let's talk about the box for a quick second. It's a sealed box, which means there's no port for air to move in and out of the box. This thing is just over 1 cubic foot in volume inside, which is matched to the speaker itself, which is information you can find from the manufacturer on any speaker. A sealed box is going to usually be like a more tighter, more crisp bass, rather than a ported box would be more boomy and will thump a little bit harder. But I figured in this car, we wanted it to just be tight and crisp and sound good. It's also a 20-year-old Civic that will already rattle pretty bad, and a ported box definitely exacerbates that. You may have seen me build my own sub box in the past and might be wondering why I didn't do that this time. And the truth is that you don't really save a whole lot of money. MDF, the stuff this is made out of, is pretty expensive. So really the only reason to build your own box is if you really want to, or you just need to put it in a tricky space that a standard box won't allow you to do. So I don't have any of those qualms or issues with this car, so I went with an off-the-shelf $80 sub box, and it looks nice and should work great. So now it's just time to get it all mounted in, plug in all the wires, and let this sucker boom. We can put the amp on this side, I think. And mount, mount, mount.
Would you like me to hold that for you, Joby?
No, it's okay. It's just gonna be intermittent.
Okay, I'll stand here. We are actually shooting tomorrow the next video, the final video in our Civic series. We're gonna be testing this car against the brand new Civic Type R, so we're kind of under the gun a little bit here.
All of our speaker wires are hooked up now, so those are powering the front door speakers, speaker wire to the sub. Next thing I'm gonna do is this is called the remote wire. And this basically just sends a 12-volt signal from the head unit when the car turns on to the amp to tell it to turn on. So pretty critical part.
Gotcha, it's like the alarm to say, hey, wake up.
Hey guy, get up,
Time
you're
to go
late.
to work.
All right, so this is the moment of truth, really. I mean, we've installed a lot of little bits and it sort of all has to work. I've done it before. What could go wrong? Let's find out. Okay, well, the first problem, okay, there we go. If you guys would check and see if there's a light on anywhere on the amp, then we'll know if source.
We got a light.
Okay, so just had to get past the opening setup there. We got a light. Okay, feel the sub. Is it making any feelings?
No,
Okay.
it's not.
Well, we've got static coming out of both door speakers, so that's a step in the right direction. Okay. What? A brutal beep. I mean, sure, I could look at a manual, but how stupid is that? Well, something's going on. Oh, no, wait a minute. I didn't plug these in. The right direction.
Look at this dude.
That was over there. It needs to be there. That was over there. It needs to be there. I think I was too busy talking about it to actually do it right. So honestly, if there's not one little thing that goes wrong that stops the whole situation that you got to figure out, did you even do a stereo install? Probably not. So let's see. You can play some music?
How loud will it go?
Louder than that.
Oh, wow.
Can you hear how clear it sounds? That sounds great.
That sounds awesome, yeah.
It sounds really good.
That's very punchy,
Yeah.
but not overly so. It's not rattling our teeth.
Exactly. It's well-rounded.
It's rounded, dude.
This car is officially at least as nice as a new Type R
Oh,
Civic.
yeah.
Hands down.
100%.
Give me this every day of the week.
Make sure you hit subscribe, because next time you see this car, we're putting it head-to-head with the 2023 Civic Type R. See how it matches up to the brand new hot thing.
Yeah, and you know what? No matter how it does, I love it.
Whoa! he's on the
Jinx,
same
dude.
thing.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you had fun. See you guys next time. Bye.